It was a mistake for China to retaliate.
China was wrong to retaliate. For the president, when America takes a hit, he hits back harder. That's why the 104% tariff on China will go into effect at midnight tonight. And that's what started the riot. For you, that means China's exports to the US will double. Put bluntly, it's no different from Trump's embargo on the world's second largest economy. The trade war has officially broken out, and from all over the world, everyone is holding their breath, waiting for the next developments. China is calm and has prepared 6 traps to pay back Mr. Trump. However, America has fallen into chaos. Americans are shopping in panic, protesting everywhere against President Trump. Even billionaires who supported Mr. Trump have turned their backs, and Mr. Trump himself has suffered huge losses. What is really going on here? At 01 a.m. on April 9th Eastern Time, the United States officially implemented the Import Tax Collection Plan under President Donald Trump's reciprocal tax decree, applicable to 86 countries and territories around the world. The individual tax rates for each country and territory range from 11% to 50%. This move marks the strongest escalation in Mr. Trump's America First trade policy since the beginning of his second term. Notably, China, the second-largest trading partner of the United States, will face a total tax rate of nearly 125%. Where does this staggering figure come from? It includes tariffs that have been in place since Trump's first term, around 19.3%, plus 10% starting in February 2024, another 10% starting in March, 34% last week, and 50% on April 7. Trump has been pushing for the 50% figure to pressure Beijing into dropping its 34% retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods. Instead of backing down, China's Ministry of Commerce announced on the morning of April 8 that it would fight to the end in the tariff war with the U.S.
中国人不惹事。
The U.S. ignores the interests of the two countries and the international community and insists that in any tariff and trade war, China will fight to the end. This means that Beijing has calmly ignored the deadline for tariff removal proposed by Mr. Trump, which is noon on April 8th. On the afternoon of April 8th, U.S. time, the White House press secretary confirmed to the press that Mr. Trump believes that Beijing should be smart enough to find a way to reach an agreement with the U.S. The tough moves from Washington and Beijing show that the second trade war between the world's two largest economies has reached a point where it is no longer salvageable. What is the situation in the U.S. now? On April 8th, stock indexes all increased sharply at the beginning of the session, even surpassing the 4% mark at times, after a series of rumors that the White House would be lenient with tariffs. But after the White House announced that it was still going ahead with the China plan, billions of dollars disappeared. It was a terrible day on Wall Street.
Another white-knuckle day.
Right now, the Dow Jones is down about 900 points. Fears of a global recession are at an alarming level. The risk of a trade war has caused many banks to revise their economic growth forecasts for the U.S. and China. J.P. Morgan has revised its U.S. growth forecast for 2025 from 1.3% to 0.3%. Citibank also cut its growth forecast for China from 4.7% to 4.2%. In 2024, the U.S. will sell more than $140 billion worth of goods to China, while buying nearly $440 billion from China. That means the price of Chinese exports to the U.S. would jump to nearly $900 billion if the new tariffs were imposed. The pain of the increase can be felt in the reaction of the American people.
The rush to buy everything from coffee.
Millions of Americans are preparing to buy everything from clothes to cars after record imports from Canada, Mexico, and China arrived as businesses braced for tariffs. These clothing items, most of which come from Asia, especially China, will be subject to the 104% tariff that Mr. Trump has imposed on America's second-largest trading partner.
I bought some jeans for my daughter.
I bought some jeans for my daughter. I'm trying to get as much and as fast as I can of the essentials we need. The tariff hike could deal a heavy blow to U.S. manufacturing and consumer goods, including toys, smartphones, computers, and other consumer electronics, much of which is still made in China. Not only China, more than 80 countries and territories have also been taxed by Mr. Trump. This man quickly closed a Toyota Corolla before it had time to increase in price.
pushed us into, we were coming just to...
I think the tariffs really pushed us into a position where we had to close the deal. A 25% tariff on imported cars and auto parts has left many people unable to wait any longer to buy the car they already have in stock.
Everybody's saying that.
Everyone says car prices will go up. We think we have to buy now. Many people are concerned about the state of the U.S. economy.
With the tariffs,
Tariffs hurt many American consumers, American farmers, American exporters. One of the stupidest policies I have ever seen. It was like a drop of water added to the glass of dissatisfaction of a part of the American people towards President Trump. Because before that, protests under the general name of Hands Off, roughly translated as Do Not Touch or Stay Away, were held at more than 1,200 locations in all 50 states of the U.S. on April 5th to protest the actions of President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk. The list of things that Mr. Trump needs to stay away from is very long. From cutting federal government staff, tightening immigration, closing many social security agencies. Protesters say he is pushing the country into a full-blown crisis. Tensions escalated when a man wearing a Trump Make America Great Again hat pulled out a hot gun when confronted by a group of people protesting President Trump's policies. The man argued with the protesters, raising both hands but holding nothing. During the altercation, a protester wearing a red and black hooded sweatshirt headbutted the man in the face. The man in the hoodie then took what appeared to be a firearm from the car. Police said the driver in the hoodie was detained but later released without charge. But the protester who headbutted him is now wanted. Meanwhile, even billionaires who support Mr. Trump have turned to criticize him. Bill Ackerman, a donor and supporter of Mr. Trump in the 2024 presidential campaign, described the tariffs as a major policy mistake. Even ally Elon Musk disagrees with the policy. The Tesla boss has called for zero tariffs between the U.S. and Europe and said Trump's top trade advisor Peter Navarro is paying the fuck up. The J.P. Morgan CEO has warned that tariffs could increase inflation and make many consider a recession more likely. Wilbur Ross, Trump's first-term Commerce Secretary, said the tariffs were more severe than he had anticipated. In particular, the impact on Vietnam, China, and Cambodia was more severe than he had thought. This is putting a lot of pressure on Trump, even if Trump himself is suffering a lot of damage. According to Forbes, Trump's net worth has dropped from $4.7 billion to $4.2 billion, meaning he has lost $500 million in less than a week. This is because the value of his publicly traded stocks and private assets has fallen in line with the broader market. His largest asset, the Trump Media and Technology Group, has fallen 8%, wiping about $170 million off his stake in the company. Mr. Trump's commercial and residential real estate portfolio may have fallen by $110 million to $142 million, based on the average decline in stocks of major real estate companies after his tariff announcement. His golf courses may have lost about $70 million due to concerns about membership belt tightening. His hotel business may have lost another $65 million, while smaller businesses like franchising and management may have lost another $75 million. Trump may have lost tens of millions more dollars from his cryptocurrency holdings. His ally Elon Musk lost $4.4 billion on April 7th alone after Tesla shares continued to fall, leaving him with a net worth of $297.8 billion. It was the first time his fortune had dipped below $300 billion since November 2024. On April 3rd and April 4th, after President Donald Trump announced new tariffs on more than 180 U.S. trading partners, Mr. Musk's fortune fell by $31 billion. While the U.S. is in turmoil, China remains calm, having prepared at least 6 major measures to respond. First, China is considering significantly increasing tariffs on soybeans and sorghum. Second, in light of the frequent outbreaks of avian influenza in the United States, the Chinese government could ban imports of American poultry. Both measures would deal a blow to the U.S. agriculture and livestock industries. Third, Beijing is considering suspending counter-narcotics cooperation with the United States. Trump has long criticized Beijing for playing a central role in the flow of drugs into the United States. He has also accused China of helping the underground banking system thrive and facilitate the illegal production and trafficking of fentanyl. Fourth, China could restrict American companies from participating in procurement activities and restrict business cooperation such as legal advice. Note that the U.S. has a trade deficit in goods, but a trade surplus in services with China. This is a weakness of the US that Beijing is exploiting. The fifth is to reduce or even ban the import of American films. And finally, in the face of the huge monopoly profits that US companies involved in China have earned, relevant departments are studying to investigate. Instead of focusing only on tariffs, which Beijing knows it cannot compete with Washington because US exports to China are only 1/3 of China's exports to the US, Mr. Xi has chosen a comprehensive blockade, targeting many sectors at the same time. And let's wait and see. After the super tax comes into effect, will China launch all the traps mentioned above? And how do you think we will be affected? Let me Quine Insight discuss in the comment section. Now, goodbye, and see you again.